Hi everyone, I'm Tamara Sachs and I welcome you to my live broadcast about lip pigmentation. I hope you'll enjoy it. I want to say something very important. There's many methods out there how to broadcast or how to show you procedures and different things, and the reason I chose live broadcast is because I want you to really feel me and feel how it is to be in my shoes, so you can see live how I work, how long it takes me, how the client reacts, things that happen throughout the procedures, how much he bleeds, different things that happen, my decision-making process. I choose one color and maybe I'll switch to the next. I choose one needle, then I switch to another. All sorts of things that I really want you to kind of see and feel and know and be part. And one of those things is that, for example, I had another model who was supposed to come for the lips, but unfortunately she's sick and I didn't want to cancel. So I decided to instead show you guys another client of mine who this is going to be her second procedure. You can see the before and afters on my page. We posted just before. And the reason it's really interesting case is because she's been a heavy smoker for many years. So what happens is the lips become very purple color, and that annoyed her. So she really wanted a more vivid kind of lip look. And so we did the first procedure. We did it really fast, contourless, so I didn't bother doing the contour a lot. We did it in a light pink color. And today is basically to enhance the color and also to kind of make the borders more kind of sleek and everything. So again, I want you to see different cases, and it is important that today is the second session, so you can also see the difference between a virgin skin and a second time skin that you touch and how it reacts and all that. And also I like it that it's live because you guys can respond and you can ask questions and get really involved with everything. That's what the point of this whole idea. And I want to really inspire you to love this profession and want to do it and love what you do. And as long as you're passionate and patient, I think you'll be amazing at this job. Anything else you can learn, you can become better and better as we go. The main thing is just passion, patience, and good intuition, and kind of decide things and listen to your inner voice. And your client, of course, it's very important. So let me show you the lips we have here, our beautiful model. So I marked her, okay? So I marked the red pencil is where I'm going to work, and the reason I mark with the white pencil surrounding it, so that now that I'm removing the numbing, probably the red pencil, most of it will be gone. And that way I can know the limits of where I shouldn't work it. Okay, so that's the purpose of the white. The white is a very strong pigment both in permanent makeup and in makeup, and that is going to stain the skin for a very long time. So that is why it's really cool to have the white surrounding also on the eyebrows or whatever procedure you're doing, so that you won't lose your marking while you take off the numbing, which is something that happened to us all the time. So I'm just going to wash my hands and put the gown on, and then we're good to go. So give me just a second. You want me to hang it here? Or?
Hi to Lila, thank you for joining us. Hi to Barbara there. Hi to Helen. Let us know you're watching. Send us your comments. Post, like, share to your friends. Vadi, thank you for joining us. Aline, thank you. Katharina, really happy that everyone's here. Don't be shy. Feel free to post your questions or comments. We'll be with you during the entire lip pigmentation. Okay, we have our first question before you begin.
Sure.
What mark pencil did you use?
So I can actually go ahead and show it. 1 second. I'll bring it.
So if you have any more questions about the equipment being used or the pigment, don't be shy to post in the comments.
You can show both of them. The red one is really strong. I've been using all sorts of lip pencils throughout, and this actually is not a very expensive one, but it's extremely strong, so it's amazing, and it's really convenient to mark with it, because again, the thing we fear the most is that our marking will get lost. So it's really nice to have a strong pencil that lasts throughout the marking. Now, of course, I already disinfected everything, but I'm just going to quickly do it again. Now I'm going to use 2 needles today. I'm going to start first with a 5RL needle, which is a flower shaped but without any gaps between, so it's going to give me a pretty thin line, and that one I'm going to use for the contour. Because she's kind of a more contourless kind of look, is why I'm not bothering to use a very thin needle. I just want a convenient one, so the 5RL will do that. And then the needle I'm going to use for the inner part of the lips is going to be the 7RM, which is kind of like a U shape, and it's really a good filler. I really like that one, so that's why. As for pigments, like I mentioned before, the major thing here is the purple lips. It's very common for people who smoke, for people who have anemia, darker skin tones like Fitzpatrick 5 and 6. So whenever I'm doing any kind, I normally like to start with the salmon pigment. It's very strong orange, so it's just good to start with it to balance the purple look, and then on top of it I can do any color I want. In this case, you might want to just have the orange look, but we might add a different tone to it after we finish. We'll decide together. Maybe ask if the music is not bothering anyone, if that's not distracting. The background music we have on.
If the background music is too loud, or you like the song, like the video. Or we'll take music requests as well. If you have any particular music you like during your treatments, let us know. You enjoying the music? Yes.
I like the music. Yeah, me?
Yes.
I love the music.
Yeah.
So just show for a second the orange, and then we can start. Okay, so it's a very orangey orange, but that's amazing to balance the purple lips. And of course in the lips it will look really good. So I'm going to remove the numbing very carefully.
Got 105 people with us right now.
Oh, welcome everyone.
111.
I hope you enjoy.
118.
Like I said before, I'm doing a live broadcast, so you can actually feel how I sweat, how I work hard, how my client is responding. Is it painful? Is it not painful? The hardships I find during the treatment. So you can see the real world of permanent makeup. Not just the nice videos that we all edit and handpick. So this is a 5RL needle, and I'm doing back and forth short movements. I'm just going to go over it. And the white here represents the border I should not cross, and that's why I'm not touching it.
So Tamara, when will you be coming back to Miami?
The next time I'm going to be in Florida, I'm going to be in Fort Myers, and that's going to happen in February 2018.
Amelia asks, you recommend to use orange pigment?
Yes, absolutely. Like I mentioned before, clients, especially in the lips, a lot of them suffer from purple lips. That can be a result of smoking, of anemia, of skin type, and the orange just gives me a really good base, so that on top of it I can do whatever I want, and I don't need to worry whether I'm using a cool lip pigment or a warm lip pigment, because the orange will balance whichever you're using. And that will solve a very common problem that people have, especially older lips, that it looks like it's a purple lip.
So Dee asks, how much is the lips?
What's the price?
Yeah. Dee, maybe if you can clarify if you're talking about the treatment or the pigment or the lips. I don't think the lips are for sale, but whatever you're referring to.
Maybe they are.
Aline, yeah, we'll share, like the Facebook page, go to the website npm-usa.com, and you'll see all the up-and-coming courses on the website. Or Aline, send us a message and we'll let you know when the Florida courses are.
I'm still with the 5RL needle. I finished my contour. I'm not wiping anything yet, as you can see. And now I'm just giving small strokes to the inner part of the lips. Is the pain okay? Again, I'm doing live broadcast because I can't really fake those things, no matter how much I will pay my model secretly. Our body has reflexes, so if she's in pain, believe me that she would jump. So the way she is, I'm assuming that she's really relaxed. And I mean, in certain points, like now, you can see it's a little bit more irritating, but generally speaking, she seems pretty good. And our point is just to open the skin up to the secondary numbing, or else it won't really work. And that's why I'm going all over really quick. And again, I'm not wiping anything.
Which is a good time to ask Tina's question, which is, what anesthetic do you use?
So I'm using normally just like 5% lidocaine for the before. And for the open skin, today specifically, I'm using type 45. That's the one I just applied on her skin, which is 4% lidocaine. Now I'm moving to the bottom part. Again, don't over wipe the area you're going to work at, because then you will lose your marking, and that's really annoying. And now I'm still with the 5RL. I'm going to go over the contour in a short, fast strokes of back and forth. And make sure you're going significant amount of time over it so that you don't, after you wipe, you don't end up realizing that it didn't really catch and then you lost your markings, because that's a real bummer.
Hi Vicky and Simone, who just joined us.
Now when I work on the lips, you can see I'm not overstretching them, because I don't want to lose the natural mimic of the lip. Now remember, the more times you're passing, the more painful it starts to become, so you have to be aware of that. Now I'm just doing really short and fast strokes to the inner part of the lips. A, to open the lip for the secondary numbing, and B, to kind of spread out the pigment. Now when you're doing the lips, it's also very important to ask in the forms they sign up before whether or not they did some sort of fillings. There is a different amount of times you need to wait. If they did hyaluronic acid, for example, or certain things, or else you're kind of canceling the effect. So it's really important. So I've opened the skin. And now, again, I'm not wiping the pigment, I'm just going to put on top of it my secondary numbing, which in this case is tag 45. Now the reason I'm not wiping the pigment is because the skin, I'm not working on it, but it's still open, so I'm kind of giving it a time when it's not in trauma to absorb the pigment. That's the reasoning behind that. I'm going to wipe the upper part, and when I'm working on the lips, you're going to see me working back and forth the whole time. So this is how it looks like when I'm wiping. So I'm still with the 5 RL. I'm just going to give it another quick pass, and then on the next round I'll probably move to the 7 RL. Questions?
No more questions at the moment.
Now I'm just repeating what I've done before. This area is the most sensitive part of the lip, so it's probably the most annoying to your client. And now when I'm working, I'm also wiping so I can kind of see what I'm doing.
507.
Welcome everyone. Now in this case, I'm going to give her a wash of an orange, and at that point I'm going to hand her the mirror, and we either going to end up with that, or we're going to decide to do a layer of a little bit reddish pinkish color. We decided to decide once we see how the orange is set on the lips. Because the main objective of this client is the color. She wants her lips to have a nice vivid color. and not necessarily the more lipstick kind of look. Now the thing you need to understand is that when you're working with needles like the 5RL, it's more painful than the 7RM, for instance. That's why I'm just opening with it, but soon enough I'm going to switch over to the 7RM. That's going to be much less traumatic to the skin because it's less sharp.
We'll post all these needles in the comments, so you know exactly which ones they are.
Now with the lips, you don't want to be too deep working, because then you're just going to create a lot of cold sores to your clients.
So Amelie, when you're asking which needles are they, we'll post a link to the comment to the website. Tina, you're very welcome. Alison asks, what numbing agent is applied?
So the first one was 5% lidocaine, and the open skin one is called Tag 45. Maybe you can take a shot at that.
I'll show it in a minute. And again, Colette asks, maybe you could tell us again which needle are you currently using?
Sure. So I'm still using a needle called 5RL, which is a long taper type of needle. It has 5 needles, so it's like a flower shaped, but they don't have any spaces. So if you will look carefully, you can see that in the contour it actually gives me a pretty thin line. Not as thin as I would get from a single needle or from a 3RL one, a little bit thicker, but it all depends what you're trying to achieve. And the reason I will switch soon a needle is because 5RL is a little bit sharp, so when I'm trying to fill in the lips, it's not very convenient to the client. So the purpose of this needle is more to create the sharp contour at the edges. So kind of where I want the edges to look really nice and crisp. But the inside, I'm going to switch to a 7RM that's going to work a little bit more faster and less bruising to the skin.
Okay, Lilia asks, is it safe to use orange only in dark areas of the lips and work with other pigment all over the lips?
There's not, it really depends on your client, because for example, if someone has anemia and sometimes they don't know, they will have a blue undertone of lips that is not very like you can really see it ahead of time. And that in that case, you just want to have throughout, like I said, like a wash of an orange, and then on top of it you can put whatever color you want, and that way you're safe and you don't need to worry about any effects that may occur in areas that you didn't put the orange. Again, because also some people smoke, some other medical things can influence blue lips, and it's not always things that we can see ahead of time or know ahead of time. So I just like to avoid having that headache and just do it like that. So now I switch to the 7RM needle. Okay, so it's flat needles, it's short taper, so it's not as sharp as the one I just used. So hopefully it will be much more convenient for my model, and it's pretty fast. And 7RM structure is like a U, so it's really built to cover big areas faster, and that's why I like to use this needle when I'm coming to the inner part. So I'm not going to touch the contour, I'm just going to brush color in the lip itself from the contour inward. And you can do it in lines or you can do it in circles, whichever works for you.
just hit 1,000 people watching. Thank you very much, everybody, for being with us here today.
Now I'm also doing the live broadcast because I want you to see that I'm really trying not to work too fast, that it's kind of as if I'm not patient or I don't really care. But I don't want to work too slow either, because you have to understand that the skin becomes tired. And so you don't want to overwork the skin. Even though we keep on numbing it and numbing it, you don't want to overwork it, because then the healing is longer and then the puffiness is more. So that's why I'm trying to always achieve the ideal ways to just work really, really fast. And I also, I know a lot of beginners not sure how the skin should react while they're working, so that's why I want you to show the amount of bleeding there is, so they will understand what the normal amount would be. Again, you have to remember I'm dealing with a smoking client, so obviously the blood is thinner. So you would see a little bit more blood, but again, you see it's nothing really severe. So again, I'm applying open skin numbing, and I'm going to do the bottom. I'll probably do one more round of orange, and then I'm going to show it to her and she can decide if she's happy with the orange color or if she wants us to apply a little bit deeper color on top of it. Both can work. So I'm giving a little stretch and I'm going from the contour inward. Again, play with different directions. And this video is also for the very scared clients from the lips. Everyone is saying, oh, lips is so painful. So I want you to see, you can't fake the reaction of the model. If it is painful, you will see, and as you can see, it's
So we got a couple of comments. Christina says beautiful.
Thank you very much.
Mametova says hi, very nice. She said, what's the pigment's name? What's the color of the pigment?
So if you want to hold it and then take a closer look of it, it's called salmon. It's a really, really, really intense orange, and I really like that it's intense for that purpose. It's really, really good to brighten all the dark lips clients.
Well, a lot of reactions to the color. I'll after the live feed, I'll post a link in the comments to this salmon color on the website.
Now just make sure you don't, of course, pass the contour, but you want to come close enough so there won't be any gaps between the contour and the rest of the lips.
So Sonia asks, how do you get good retention of color? She said she's done some lips and it takes a lot of time to get good retention of color. You have any tips or advice for Sonia?
First of all, it all depends on the effect that the client wants. If she wants a more lipstick effect, then it's at least in the first session, it will take probably a good 2 hours to really get the pigment in. If she just wants light or anything just a little bit lighter, then you can just do like quick movements, and that should probably take you an hour. And you can just look, I mean, if you will take a close look of the lip right now, you can see it's not enough color if she wants the lipstick effect, because you can really see still the undertone of the lips. So if she wants the lipstick, you really have to make sure that it's all even out, filled with color, no gaps in between, and kind of go all over. If she wants a more gloss effect, then it's a little bit faster. So it's really depending on the type of procedure you're doing. And retention, you have to also remember it really depends on the client, because different health backgrounds, habits, age, all those also will influence the retention. And my biggest tip is, and that's also to a lot of the beginners that kind of have a lot of troubles with it, I always explain my clients, although I've been done it for so long and I really try to get it all done in one procedure, I always tell them you have to come at least 2 procedures, because the second procedure is for me, not for you. It's just for me to make sure that I got my pigment in, that I got the color that I wanted, that I kind of gave you a really good match of what you wanted. So I explained that no matter what, I would need her to come back to at least 2. Maybe I won't need to do anything in the second session, and that happens a lot too. But when you say ahead of time that they will need to come to another session, they won't expect to have a perfect result after the first one, and that will kind of give you a little bit more ease with clients that won't kind of start with saying, you know, I didn't get what I wanted, I want my money back, or things like that. Kind of give you the opportunity to explain, you know, different people react different ways. Whatever we would need, I can fix it on the second session. So that's a really big, important thing to note.
Okay, let's read a couple of the comments. The numb cream. I'll show you a shot of it in a minute, and we'll write it in the comments. Leanne said, "I'm so glad you're doing this. I so needed to see it being done again for my own knowledge." She says, "Thank you." Again,
Welcome.
which needle is this that you're using again?
This is called 7RM. It's a short taper type of needles. Okay, they're in a U shape. They have big gaps in between them. They're less traumatizing to the skin, and they were created to fill in big areas faster. So for those of you who've been with me from the beginning of the film, you can see that the 5RM did very small amount of color, and now that I switched to the 7RM, I'm getting much more color in faster.
Hi to Dana, hi to Catherine, and hi to Udina, who just joined us.
Welcome. So at the end of this round, what I'm going to do, I'm going to hand my model a mirror, and she's going to decide whether she likes her orange lips. Of course, they're not going to stay like that. Another thing to note, very important when you're doing lips, is that there's going to be 50% decrease of the after healed color. Okay, so that's another thing you have to explain to your client. So if they're wanting to get a really deep color, it means that the immediately after has to be significant dark to get to that color. So my client already knows that because it's her second session. So she's going to see how it looks like now. And now it's kind of looks like she has a really, really light lip. And then she can decide if she likes it like that or she wants a more deeper color. And we already put aside a color that she likes in case she wants a layer of color. So we'll know in a second whether or not we will need that.
Okay, Angel asks a question. Have you applied cross motion while applying the pigment to her lips?
I'm doing just all over, like different. I'm doing straight strokes. I'm doing round strokes. I'm doing crisscross. I'm just playing all over. Um,
Okay, Angel, I hope that answers your question. Another one from Tina. If she chooses to only do orange, what colour would it heal to?
This is going to look, you have to remember, her undertone is purple. So now the orange is really much seen because it's still not really merged with the skin yet. That will take about a week to 10 days. And then what, the mixture of the purple with the orange will have like a nice light pink color. Okay, so it will be like a nice light pink together.
Here's the colour again, salmon. Tamara, is this a popular colour with clients?
Yes, because like I said, the way I teach it, I use salmon to every client because a lot of people have anemia. They don't even know. They don't even tell you in the disclosure. So I just like to do it as a base to all my lips. Of course, normally I will just apply it really quickly. I will go like 3 times with it. And in some cases, like purple lips, I will just do many layers of. So I'm just going to show her. I'm going to look right now. And she can decide if she wants a layer of color or not. Because it's very light now.
Very light, but will it stay like this?
It will be less because it will merge with your undertone. So it will be more like earth pink.
And if we
do a
add
layer?
pink,
Then it will be a little bit more intense color than that. Like this, it will look like natural lips, not as if you put something.
can I see?
What? Like
Can I
that?
see? No, sit.
Ah, yes.
Okay, I think we should stay with it, and then I will decide
Evaluate?
after everything will heal. What are you saying?
I like the way it looks.
But you want me to light? Because now it's very light. It's almost like I don't have
You don't
a
have lips.
lips. Yes.
Yeah. It's going to be pretty like a natural pink color
Pink or peach?
in between.
Okay. 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 Let's
So
leave
you
it like
wanna-
this. Okay.
So I'm just going to finish up like the edges where I see it's not
Okay.
good enough.
So maybe the edges needs to be more dark, right?
Okay. So you want the edges to be a little
No,
more
leave it like this. Just finish it, and maybe we'll
maybe
do a
next
scan
session.
because I know that when it heals, it's something
It's different, yeah.
And
Like I said, in the lips, it's really crucial to know, since you already did one session, she knows the biggest difference. There is a major difference between the immediate after and the healed, and especially when you're doing something like that, when the base color is very dark and now you're kind of lighting it up, so it's hard to know in the immediately after. So now I'm just going to go real quick. Just in a little bit spaces that I feel it's not enough color, and then we'll work it up.
Okay, I've got a couple of questions coming in.
Sure.
One from Tina. Do you preset your needles?
So you have 2 options. My machine has the capacity to have 2 hand pieces, and technically I could preset them and then just switch over between the hand pieces. Or I have the 2 needles and I just switch over between them while I work. Both are convenient. It all depends on what you prefer, and As long as you're staying in the same depth, you can kind of play around with the same handpiece. If you're going to do different depths, let's say if you're doing someone with scars, for example, and in the scar tissue you're going to need to go deeper, then maybe it's better to do a separate handpiece than to kind of play around with the adjustment every time you switch.
Okay, Luzinette says, loving to watch you.
Thank you very much.
You need to go to New York.
I will be coming to New York in 2018, so stay tuned and I'll get there.
Make sure you like and follow the Facebook page. You'll get updates of all Tamara's up and coming courses around the world. If you're in Hong Kong, if you're in the US, if you're in Portugal, in Chile, Ireland, United Kingdom, Land of the Queen, make sure you like and follow for updates on up and coming courses where you can learn about lip pigmentation and a number of other courses as well, which we've also done in our live Facebook feeds. Amelie says, is it better to make it in 2 steps, or is it possible to mix the two colours and do it in 1 step?
So you can do that. In the first session we mix the orange into the color itself. It all depends on how dark her lips is. If they're really, really dark, let's say if you're doing Fitzpatrick skin 5 or 6, I would prefer that you would do it in a 2-step, that you would first do the wash of orange and only then apply whatever color, especially if they're trying to get a kind of lighter color to the lips. And but any other, you can just apply the orange inside the color itself.
Hi to Irana Lul, who has just joined us. Welcome.
Hello.
Hi to Grace. Sonia, will you offer scalp micropigmentation training in the UK?
I will, hopefully, in 2018. And if you want to follow my page, my next live broadcast will be about the scalp, so it will be really, really interesting. So for those of you who are into that, stay tuned.
Okay, Leanne says she wants to ask, and there was this question on a couple of other groups as well, where this video is, asking what the reasons are for you using the orange colour. Lots of questions about the salmon pigment.
Okay. So there is the color theory. For those of you who are not familiarized with it, we created this 3 videos that are kind of interconnected, so you have to watch all 3 of them to kind of understand it. I'm just going to put a little bit more color in my cup. And they're talking about the color theory. Now, in a really fast way for me to explain, Newton color theory says that if you're taking 2 opposite colors on the color wheel and you mix them together, they're going to cancel each other. Okay? So if you will open now on Google the color wheel and you will take a good look at it, you will see that the opposite of the blue color is orange. So whenever I say that people have blue undertone to their lips, which normally makes it look a little bit bluish or purplish, you can call it whichever you want, then I would need the orange to balance that blue color. So let's say what would happen if I would go ahead and apply a cool red pigment to the lips, so red that contains some portion of cool colors. What will happen in the after healed, her lips will look even more blue or even more purple, which is something that's very common to see on lips and why people want them removed nowadays. Okay, so in order not to have that trouble, and you have to understand that sometimes you won't see that blueness or purple lips in the first month of the procedure. It's something you will see in the longer periods, like after a year, 2 years, few years. then the color will start looking more and more bluish, purplish. Okay, so to avoid that effect, nowadays we say just put a orange color and that will fix that. And again, it's all a question of what your client wants. A lot of clients want a more vivid color, more pinkish, reddish, kind of healthy color of lips, like the one I have here. So that's why I want to really kind of cancel the blue undertone she has by adding a lot of orange into it. So now it will look funny. It will look as if I kind of deleted her lips in a way. They look very, very bright right now. But I will post the after heal picture and you will see that you will get a really nice, healthy lip color. And again, from that point, you can decide to do another session and maybe put a third color if she wants it a little bit more significant, or she would just love the new color.
Okay. Another question. Do you have any classes in Canada?
Yes, I do. It's already full for 2017, but in 2018 I'm going to have in Vancouver, and I think I'm going to have one in Toronto as well.
Okay. Emily says thank you. Sonia says thank you. We have a hello from Finland.
Hello.
Where can we find the live feed schedule? Desiree. That's a very good question. And you should like and follow our page and check in frequently, and we'll update you all the time of any up and coming demonstrations, courses, video series that we're doing, directions to the website. So make sure before you leave you like and follow our page. Again, Eva, thanks for joining us. What colour is that?
The salmon is here.
Okay, for those that just joined us, this is the colour, salmon. We'll put a link to it in the comments for anybody that's interested. Lilia says, can we see her healing lips in a few days?
Yes, absolutely. All of my videos, I didn't see yet the follow-ups, but all the ones I did till now, the tattoo removal, the eyebrows, the lips I'm doing now, all of them, in the next days we will definitely post the healed, because I think that's the crucial thing you want to see is the healed. Now, whenever I finish my procedures, even though I think I'll probably won't touch the skin again, I still apply the numbing cream just to kind of cool down the skin, and also in case she will look at the mirror and tell me another spot she wants me to cover, or things she thinks it's not filled enough, so that way it's numbed and not waking.
Okay, Emily asks what colour you recommend to correct an old rose who became brown. And also, Emily, we have a group for NPM certified members, as well as Tamara Sachs private group for everybody that's completed our course. Feel free to join, and if you have any questions or want to post anything in the group, such as this colour recommendation, you can do that also. So the question is,
so we healed to a brown color, but what if the client wants to move to instead of the brown? That's the question.
That's the question. What does the client want? And Leanne, so the orange you're doing now, will you be doing another pass with another colour or just using orange?
Yeah, so for those of you who just joined, my model looked in the mirror before. I showed her how the orange looks like, and she said that she prefers to wait for the healed color to see how it merges with her undertone and see what the final color will look like, because right now you can only see the orange because it's not really merging with the skin as of yet. It will take about a week to 10 days. By the way, at this point I switched to the 5RL. Okay, so I'm back to just kind of tweak the edges and things that So we did put aside a different color in case she wanted. She decided she doesn't. But yeah, normally I would apply a layer of orange, and then on top of it I would just apply whatever color the client wants, especially if it's more a lipstick kind of lip pigmentation effect. In this specific case, we just want to give the lips a more healthy color. Okay, so that's why she prefers to see first what color it will heal to, and then decide whether or not to, in the second, if needed, to do another session with another color or not. She also has, I don't know if you can really get it in the camera, but in many cases she has like spots on the lips as well, so that's kind of covering, giving it a good coverage as well. How long has it been?
No idea. Let's have a look. It's just coming up to 1 hour.
Okay. So that's like I said, if this is not what I call a full coverage lips, if I really want a dense kind of lipstick kind of look, I would probably go for another half an hour at least to fill it up. In this case, I just want to give her a healthy color and kind of a nice shape of lips, so that's why I'm kind of at the wrapping up stage. I don't want to overwork it. It's more of a wash effect, let's say.
Okay, so a couple of people have asked, how much is this sort of treatment?
So the lips are always more expensive than any other part because they normally take longer to do, and if you will do a second session, it will also take you a while. So this type of procedure is normally $800. Depends again where you're coming from. So.
And then another question on the same subject from Tina. If she decides later to do a different colour, is that then a separate charge?
I always say it depends how you build up your prices. So you can either charge higher and say that the touch-up is included, and in which case you give your client the opportunity. Or you can lower the price a little bit and say, in case you're going to want to touch up, I'm going to charge, let's say, in the first session it will be $500, and then the second session will be $200 or $300 for the touch-up. Of course, touch-up doesn't take us as long as the first session when we do all the markings and the designer, which takes us the longest. But we still waste time and needles and all that. So it really depends how you wanna, which method you prefer. The benefit of doing it separately is that many people will sometimes abuse the fact that they have multiple times to come. So that's the only reasoning. Maybe it's less preferable, but again, it all depends.
Eva asks, how long do they last?
So lips, I typically say will last about a year and a half, and at that point is not that you will wake up and you won't have any color anymore. It's just that it will become lighter, and at that point you can decide if you're doing a touch-up on the color. And again, going back to pricing, it depends. Like, I normally incentivize my clients by giving a discount on the yearly touch-up, so that they will come each year and they'll kind of refresh the color. But if they don't, then it's basically going back to do it from the beginning, and in which case I will charge them the full amount.
Okay, Eva's also asked, perhaps for the model to answer, does it hurt?
It's not pleasant, but it's not that painful. It was really okay, and it's worth it. So it was really, really okay.
Yeah?
In the end, it was a little bit harder, but it was really okay.
Great.
So again, I applied numbing all over just to calm down the skin, and again, like in case my model stands up and says I want more. In this case, I know she doesn't, so I'm just going to give it a good wipe.
Let's do one last few questions.
Sure.
Why do you stretch the lips?
When I work?
Yeah.
When I work, I stretch, but I only stretch a little bit when I want it to kind of go, especially if you have a very wrinkled lip and you want it to kind of go into the pores. But in the lips, I also don't want to overstretch in certain areas, because then you kind of lose the natural mimic of the lip and your guidelines and all that. So it all depends where I'm working and what I'm trying to achieve. And the way I'm doing my clients in the last year is what I call dry healing. So I just apply a thin layer of aftercare cream just to kind of close the skin right now. And I will tell her not to get it wet and not to put anything at home, just to let her lips kind of heal themselves up. In the lips, they become very, very dry, so that's the only area that I would say, if it's really annoying, you can put a little bit of moisturizer to calm it down. You can also put natural honey, which is really, really good, anti-inflammatory, and it goes to not scar the skin and all these things. Help not to develop any cold sores or anything else. But other than that, I'm a big fan of what I call dry healing, which means that you don't apply a thick layer of really, really greasy Befantol, which I used to use a lot before, and I get better retention and better results. So again, up to you guys, but that's how I advise my clients. So thank you. You're welcome.
So we're getting a lot of thumbs up, a lot of likes, a lot of love after looking at the lips. So.
And of course, the lips are always pretty kind of boosted afterwards. So that's a normal reaction. Of course, the more you will work on them, the more they will get that. It also has to do with, again, the health of your client. If they've done fillings on the lips or things like that, that will probably tend to make the lips a little bit more sensitive. So that's a normal reaction. When I learned it, they used to tell us to put ice packs. I don't think at this point we need the ice packs. With the technology of today, the needles of today, they're not as bruising as it used to be. So again, the only thing, just apply the aftercare immediately after, so you kind of protect the lips of your client from getting any things into the skin. But other than that, bring it to minimum. The creams and all the other things you need to do. And that's pretty much. Are there any more questions?
Last question. What aftercare cream do you use?
So, for those of you who watch the tattoo removal one, there is an aftercare cream that I use for the tattoo removal. It all contains natural oils like calendula, lavender, things like that. It really helps the skin reconstruct, and I really, really like it. It's not too greasy. It's very nice to work with, very light, and at the same time it gives a lot of moisture to the bruised skin and kind of calmed it down. So that's what I put, but again, I just put immediately after, and then after that, if she really wants at home, she can put moisturizer, but absolutely not Vaseline, please. That's like the worst thing to put. You completely choking your skin and not giving it the opportunity to heal properly. So except for Vaseline, I can vote to anything your client wants to put on the lips to kind of help with the dryness that will happen in about 3 days' time.
Okay, that's a wrap.
So thank you very much for watching. I hope you're enjoying it. And again, I chose live broadcast so you can kind of feel as if you're with me in the room, feel the situation, how it is to be with a client in a scenario, with everything that happens with a real client, how the skin reacts. Nothing here is edited. All you see is really what happens. I'm sharing you with the decision process making, the color I'm choosing, what I'm doing, so you can kind of get the feel of how it is to really work as a permanent makeup artist and all the hardships and the good things about it. So I really hope you're feeling it, feeling the love and the passion. And you can also ask me questions after the live video. I'll respond as soon as I can. And thank you all for watching. I appreciate it, and have a blissful day.